Hello everyone and welcome. Today I will finally show you how I painted the Goff Rocker. You may have seen the Goff assembly shirt, but this is my first video where I paint on Orc. And there are many firsts in this video, as you can see. For the first time on this channel, and for the first time I'm using a airbrush to paint at least partly a miniature. And I chose to try to do his skin with the airbrush because that I thought would be the most difficult one to get the proper hues, and I was hoping that there would be highlights and shadows already made, and I was using a contrast paint. I was using Military Green for this. I know it's not an Orc Flesh. I'm gonna get an Orc Flesh soon. But yes, the coverage was great, and it went very thin in one coat, and I can't wait to be able to apply what I've learned by painting this little guy on the big bad Gazgul, which is coming. Unfortunately, that one is a very big model, and it will take quite some time for me to properly paint him. And since that's gonna take a lot of time, that means a lot of sessions, and I will most likely not be done for October. Uh, but there is another video. I've already gotten started to work on Makari, and he should be coming next week. I went with uh, trying to do as many of the all models that I have, and I decided to do the Goff Rocker and then Makari, and then if I have time, Gasco. While for the squig, I used the Mephiston Red, and I mixed in a bit of Everland Sunset as well, but that's going to come a bit later for painting the top of the squig's head in order to give it a sort of highlight. And while it was wet, I could see a slight difference. I'm fairly certain that it's not visible, at least for me. I can't really say that I have color blindness because I don't. I see all the colors perfectly. But what I can rightfully say that it is I don't have hue. I have hue blindness. Let's go with that. Hue blindness. I cannot differentiate between um, very close tones of red or green or blue or whatever. For me, they're all the same color. Um, and that's why I don't really see the point of highlights when I look at the model, especially 3D object. I already see it, and I don't see why I have to paint it if the light already works for me and does this. Right, so moving on, I finished with the airbrush. I personally did not experience any drawbacks to using it, and as you saw, I didn't have like a filtration system because I did very small amount of airbrushing. Uh, but my wife, who was in the room, started coughing. She's a little more sensitive than I am, and that's why I will focus on doing airbrushing while she's not at home. Because again, I'm doing this in my living room, so if you are on the fritz and thinking about getting your own hairbrush for this and thinking you can't do it, if you don't mind a bit of fumes, though they can be, in my personal opinion, not a problem. You can do it in a living room as long as you have a shoebox for you to spray in. Right, so again, as I said, the process is fine. I was hoping that it would reduce the chipping, and it did. It did when I used a proper airbrushy paint, as in contrast paint, because those are designed to be used by airbrushing as well. But the squig, however, using a base color, namely Mephiston Red, even though I thinned it down quite a lot and added a bit of Emerald Sunset, which is I think a layer, I think, or Flesh Gets Yellow, which is a layer. One of those is definitely a layer. I added the layer one. I don't honestly remember which one it was. And that one did indeed chip a lot, just as previously once it was dry and I touched it. So there's that. But for the contrast paint, no, absolutely no chipping whatsoever. I did not see a single flake fall off or scrape or anything like that, even though it was incredibly thin. So again, talking about the airbrush a little bit, I know we've gotten past that part, but it's an incredibly useful tool, at least for me, and it's even a beginner-friendly tool. Honestly, once you watch a few videos on YouTube, you can easily use it on your own, and there they can be expensive. I'll grant you that. But again, as a beginner, you don't want to splurge out on a mini compressor that is a few, uh, at least $100 or more, or €100, whatever. Uh, just I bought my kit for around 60 euros with all the accessories, compressor, airbrush, and everything that I wanted. It's a point 0.3 nozzle, and it's absolutely great. I mean, I can't complain about anything other than the fact that yes, indeed, the mechanism is a bit shoddy. It kind of sticks on airflow if you don't manually pull it back out. But those are all to be expected. Again, in the incredible price that I bought it for. Again, the compressor is in that price, and the airbrush can be switched to a more professional model as soon as I can. Sorry if you heard my hiccup. All right. What else is there to tell you about the airbrush? I don't want this video to be just, like hair viewing the airbrush. So I'm gonna stop talking about it and focus on the Goff Rocker. For the leather, I went with black because, Goffs. And I tried to, and I will also later on cover all the spiky bits with lead belcher. So that I wanted to go for a more dark look to him. So while I didn't use any shades except for the skin, I went with very very dark colors and very very muted colors. I didn't use like bright metallics such as Fang steel or anything like that. No, no, no. Or silver. No, I went with the gritty ones with like lead belcher and Runelord brass for the brass elements and so on and so forth. And I have a clear comparison on the airbrush and using contrast paints with the brush. The contrast, I had to use my brush and a bit of contrast paint to handle all the details on his hands, because uh, it would have been pointless for me to try and do those by airbrush since the area is so small. And I can tell you right now that I had to do two passes with the brush on the hands to get it to, well, the same consistency, the same hue that I saw, because it was very, very transparent when I did it with the brush, and the white was still showing through on the primer, basically. Uh, so yeah, the airbrush does save a lot of time when it comes to like this step, and especially I can't wait to use the airbrush when I start working on the big armies, like the Tyranids and the Space Marines. Now, for the leather bits, such as the guitar strap, I started using, of course, Gore fur. I also have snakebite leather, but I didn't want to open it yet and start getting that one yet. I decided to go with this one. It's not ideal. Now, in uh, the masterclass that I saw on the Goff Rocker, they did checker patterns on the strap. I was going to try it, but I decided against it, going with this brownish color to give him a bit more color, because again all my colors are muted. While the white would have done it a bit better from the checkers, I I didn't know. I can do checkers. It's not a problem. I just don't particularly like it. So I went with the simple leather strap. That's for that's a personal choice. I know Goffs should have like the checkers somewhere and stuff, but I can always add them if I feel like it later on. Right. Oh, I think yeah, you can already see it on the squig that his tail already has a little chip from the fact that I had to hold him like this, and that is how most of my models get chipped, and I have to redo them again and again, recover uh, all of the areas that I painted, because while holding the model and so on and so forth, from the friction, some of the paint will come off. Now, I did find a way to hold it better, this particular model, and I know a lot of people like to put them on bases and use the holder to do this and to paint them afterwards. I don't really like painting the bases, and I don't like breaking the models afterwards. And if you glue it on the base and then have to remove the model from the base after it's painted in order for you to put it on its proper base, then the chipping might come anyway, because you just either through friction of the model when breaking it, or through the break lines, it can happen. Another way to do it is, of course, with tack, with blue tack, or with double-sided tape that I use. But I didn't want to get that also leads to chipping, because again, when you remove that, when you hold down the model on the painted areas, that can happen. Uh, with the airbrush, now I also plan on adding lacquer to all my minis. I have a matte lacquer which should protect them better, and I can't wait to try that on. But that one is a bit more chemically and fused, and I didn't want to use it this time on it. Not that because I was afraid of something that I'll do in the model, but again, ventilation, house, living room, you know the drills. Uh, Here I'm trying to do a bit more shading, just adding another layer of contrast paint, not anything chipping like I said, because um, it picked it covered very well with the airbrush, the contrast paint. But as you can see on the little bit like the hands, where I use the brush, I have to do two passes just to get the coverage right. Now, I might be mistaken, and I'm doing a big mistake here. And Instead, I should have left it just the way it was, with just those transparent hues, and that is how the masters do it. Now that I think about it, maybe I should have done that, and it would have been even better. Ah, live and learn. I'll try it next time, though. I might try it next time to really make it transparent and have the white come through everywhere. Yeah, like I said, this hobby is all about experimenting, and I'm all for that. I think I will try that next time. Again, for the wrist straps, I went with black, and all the metallic elements I painted, of course, with lead belcher. I'm gonna take a short break right now because my voice is getting a little tired, and I'll let you enjoy the background music a bit while I have something to say. And moving on, now I try to cover all the scars with a very light coat of pure white because I wanted to get rid of that um, green tint on the specific areas, and I want to cover them later on with a different color. And this is where I again experimented after covering all the scars with white in order for better for other colors to come out at the top. I tried using another contrast paint, namely Gilliman Flesh, in order to make it stand out. Unfortunately, that was really transparent and did not really tint the white at all. So, what I ended up doing in the end was, of course, to paint all the scars with Bugman's Glow. And that one offered enough of contrast and enough variation as to be easily identifiable as scars against the green skin. Yes, and this is one of the tedious processes that I really enjoy while painting on miniatures. Um, these little details are what make it stand out, and this is what makes it look as realistic as possible. Again, I used a bit of Corax White, that's the color, to paint all the teeth and earrings and fangs and any things that stand out on the model who give it a bit more of to pave the way ahead, because I will then wash these with Seraphim Sepia or Kilman Flesh in order to make it better. The inside of the mouth I also painted with Bugman's Glow to give it that pinkish hue, as well as the gums and the inside of his lips. This is one of the most realistic models that I got the faces right, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It looks great, and my attention to detail was awesome. Uh, again, I also really enjoyed what I saw in the masterclass, and I saw that the guitar was painted white with metallic elements, and that is what I wanted for this one as well. So I painted it, I base coated it with Corax white, and all the chips and the dings and everything else, I went with uh, I went and painted with lead belcher. I thought to myself, well, a guitar is made out of wood, an electric guitar is usually made out of plywood, of compressed wood, or and so on and so forth. Well, orcs would probably do that because, again, it's cheap and stuff. Or they would have just picked it up off Humi, so to speak. Uh, I'm pretty sure this guy would have just gotten a hunk of metal, painted it, and just added the guts of the guitar, the strings and the microphones, and the plugs and everything on a ginormous hunk of iron, because that is what an orc would do. And he wouldn't really care about, it being heavy and stuff. It would have just been a bonus. Besides this, that is his chopper, his smasher thingy. Because that's what orcs call all their melee weapons: chopper, smashers, and so on and so forth. Um, I'm pretty sure his microphone would be his stick bomb, so that's pretty cool. Though he doesn't have any Daka. Now that I think about it, that's pretty odd, don't you think? No Daka. We'll have to go see about changing that. He does have a lot of bullets on him, but what's he shooting them with? Hmm, yeah. Alright, I guess I'll find out when I pick up one Orc Codex at some point. Yeah, I plan on having a lot of armies. Besides the Tyranids and the Space Marines that I already have, the Space Marine I have like more than 1,000 points of painted. I need to get on that. But first the Tyranids. I need to get on my rushing skills way better for my little Space Wolves. Right. So, as I mentioned before, all the other star I painted with Gorgon of Fur. Uh, why, uh, why did I do them in sub-assemblies? Because it allowed me to much more easily reach all of the uh, spaces I needed to. And while I should have tried to assemble this guy and paint him all at once, because he's a rather simple model, and for gas school I assembled him fully, and I am going to have an amazing hard time of painting him. uh, I really couldn't for the love of me figure out how you could have kept him in sub assemblies, because he was very difficult to assemble as well. So it's definitely a big project whenever I will get to him as well. Alright, so as you saw, I put in the final touches on his teeth. Uh, I went again with Corax White, which is like the purest white titanium white, and that's fine. Again, I'm not going for, like highlights and everything. I have Wraithbone on my. Oh no, actually, I didn't use Corax White. Oh, yeah, that's right. I used Wraithbone. It's a new paint that I got, and all of it is painted with Wraithbone, including the guitar, by the way. The guitar is actually with Wraithbone instead of white, because I was thinking that I would do, like I said, highlights initially and edge highlights with Corax White, but then I got the idea that I should do the guitar and all the edge highlights. It's the only thing that is edge highlighted more to show its wear and tear. It's highlighted with lead belcher, not uh, area highlights, just edge highlights, and all the scratches are done with lead belcher. This really sticks out, gives the impression that this is just a painted hunk of metal that can be used as a club whenever you wanted to, because it's not going to break. It's just a piece of iron. At best, it's gonna bend. Or who knows, since Gaz has like a ass plate on yeah, an ass plate of a Terminator on his head. Maybe he got some really thick slab of armor from somewhere and just is using it as a guitar. That seems such an orky thing that it's my headcanon right now. So yeah, like I mentioned, painting the guitar was pretty easy. Just one base coat of rainbow. Boy, making these voiceovers for this particular video is tiring. I have not made a 1 hour long video in quite some time. I'm, that is to say, this video doesn't really reach 1 hour, but uh, it's close enough, and it's been a while. Hey, if you enjoyed this really long format content, please let me know. I will try to make it as much as possible. Right now, I am trying to edit out as much of the process as I can because I really like showing you guys what it really takes to paint miniatures. Because even from masterclasses that I see or from really experimented YouTubers and so on and so forth, you don't get the sense how long painting a miniature is going to take. I'm not saying that I finished this model in 1 hour. Good God, no. This process of painting him, this process took around 3 hours of non-stop painting. I'm not putting into account prep time. I'm not putting into account all the moving my instruments around and so on and so forth. Just putting paint on model around 3 hours again for me. I'm fairly certain that a uh, masterclass person could do this in like half an hour, but I'm no masterclass. And you saw me paint the eyes before. I used again Mephiston red for that, just doing the little dots. No pupils, no nothing like that. They're orcs, they have green eyes, they glow in the dark. It doesn't really matter. Moving on to the metallics right now, and I am doing his hat and waist skull, metal skull with Rune Lord brass, and his knee caps, knee pauldrons, knee guards. Let's go with that. I'm doing those with lead belcher as well. Doing the metallics is again tricky. Everybody keeps telling me, "Hey man, you should definitely use two waters and clean them and change them and do not mix There are flakes of. I don't see them. It's my dirty water. If I can use that dirty water for white paint to clean my brush and then to put the brush on the white paint and it's fine without any hues, it's gonna be fine for the metal flakes. Though, what I did do and to keep right now a completely clean second jar of clean water on my desk at all times is a special the oh man, softened water. Let's go with that. With softened water, which they remove the purities and the minerals from the water. Yeah, and I used that one to dilute the paint that I used for the airbrush, and to give a better to give a better what different properties for the paints. And for the base, I decided to do something completely unique, and I wanted to cover the base in and make it like, you know, a wooden floor of a bar or a stage or whatever you want to call it. So I have a bit of leftover wood from honestly the creation of my very first studio, and these are just a few tiny little chunks of wood that I had left, and then I in split them as unequally as I could. Some of them are a bit more thicker, some of them are a bit more thin. I glued them onto the base in a random-ish pattern as much as possible, though it came out pretty regular. And in the end, I clipped off the bases and I did a very good job of painting. Yeah, this is me trying to figure out how to make base. This is again, but I'm very happy with how it came out. In the end, I just went and put them like right one next to each other to almost in the same size, because again, with the thicker ones to one side to have that gradient, because I was afraid that the model wouldn't stick if it would be too uneven, or it would have looked oddly with bits of the squeak or his foot in the air on certain planks, and that would have been odd. So that's how I did it and tested it out. Uh, Placed some super glue on the wood, and then just added the base, pressed it down real hard, and that was that. They held, and I just came in with a few more bits and pieces to add them to cover up the entire base. That's it. Of course, I then proceeded to cut all around the base to make sure that all the excess wood is cut off. This process, I just scored the wood a bit with the X-Acto knife, and then broke it off, because that is the best way to do it to have that round effect. So there you go, and another is just to use it as a saw, apparently, because I'm special and don't really value my fingers. Don't worry, no fingers were harmed in the making of this video this time. Don't worry, there will be plenty of accidents that you can see on my channel, because I'm not really a careful person when it comes to this stuff. Alright. I'm just gonna let this video play out, and I'll get back to you when I start painting these base. While I initially planned to have the joints of the board much more visible and make it many more, I decided to just go with them as they lay, and it still came out pretty well, so I'm happy with it. That's fine. Now that I am finishing up the final board, making sure that I don't super glue my fingers together, but failing to do so, in the end I had to go and wash my hands. But it's fine, it's fine, don't worry. Skin peels off much faster than super glue. I then proceeded to scoring randomly chips and dings into the wood as much as possible. Try to cut out some extra grooves in there, give it a few more lines of texture, and so on and so forth. And with that, the physical base is done, and I am about to move on to painting. I said I'm about to move on to painting. Move on to painting the bloody thing. Oh, yeah, hold on. I remember. I have to first check it out how he's gonna look because I don't have any patience whatsoever. Alright, with me being happy on how it looks, it's time to move on to the paint. And to the paint, I picked up every color that I had on my palette and just smeared it all over the place in all sorts of shapes and patterns without trying to uh, make it symmetrical or anything like that. And I also tried to add a bit of red in there just to simulate a bit of, you know, blood on the floor and so on and so forth, because again, that all. And over all of that, I came in with Agrax Earthshade and just mirrored absolutely everything with um, uh, with this color with Agrax Earthshade in order to darken the wood and to make it look as dirty and as unclean as possible. I doubt in an orc bar or on an orc stage anybody ever uses a mop ever, even if Gretchens exist. Of course, in certain places I also added a bit of dark wash, or who knows, maybe with some oil spilled from a mechanical arm, who the hell knows. Anyway, I think the base came out looking great, and uh, the final thing I did on the bases was, of course, to do the trims with black. And with the bases done, I added some super glue, of course, the Goff Rocker Squig foot and Squig. So it's time to attach the base because I was so sick and tired of chipping paint off this model and having to fix all of my mistakes. And with the model with the base, I can finally use the holder, which allowed me to move on to the next step, which was painstakingly painting all of the spikes with lead belcher. This is the process that really took it out of me because I made so many mistakes. Either the paint was too watery, and as soon as I touched the brush to the model, it went all over the black leather, so I had to stop, wait for it to dry, paint the black all over again, and then come back again with the lead belcher. At some point, I think I gave up on this idea and just painted everything with lead belcher. There was a guide hair. Haha, funny. No, it was just the hair that was longer on the brush that I had to remove. And once that was done, uh, it went a bit more smoothly. Um, Speaking of brushes, I found these relatively cheaply uh, relatively cheap brush set at my local hardware store, which therefore painting on canvas, and I bought a set. And to be honest, I'm much much happier with these painting with these than I am with like my Citadel paint brushes. I haven't gotten to Kalinsky Sable yet or anything like that, and I probably never will. But I'm more than happy with how these perform, and they're relatively cheap synthetic brushes, but the paint flows from them like a miracle. And this is where I finally decided to cut that hair because I was sick and tired of it. And yeah, it's still absolutely great despite all those problems that I had. But yeah, I plan on using these for a long time, and if I find another set, I'll probably buy another one. Just that's just how good these are. Oh yeah, what else can I say? Painstaking process of painting each and every spike on his leather jacket. Takes a while. You get used to it. You have to do all the sides. You can't just do it from the top down. Yeah, I know. It's annoying. But it looks downright cool. And this is where I wanted to show you. So if you look at his pant leg, you can clearly see how it's highlighted by just the light that I used to paint. It's perfect. It's great. It's flawless. It changes based on the angle you look at the model or you hold the model to. So why do I need to paint up those highlights? The the action is there. It might be small, but it's there. I don't need to paint it. I'm happy with it. Again, I get why you guys are golden winner demons and golden demon winners, but I'm not trying to be at this point in time. I just want my models to look absolutely cool, and that's the truth of it. With the metallics on the actual Goff Rocker done, it's time to move on to the details for his microphone and his guitar. And they use two colors, lead belcher for the shaft of the microphone for the handle, and of course Rune Lord brass for the head and the nozzles of the microphone thingy, stick bomb. I don't know, whatever it is, it's awesome. Um, because again, it looks like a grenade to me. That's why I keep saying stick bomb. It looks like a freaking grenade to me. Uh, yeah. What I really wanted to do is give it a clean look and a carefully painted look. So that is why I concentrated on a lot of details and tried to make them uh, not spill over one another. That is just my style, and that is my perfectionist streak, sort of. And again, even his hand has some spiky bits, and I have to paint those as well. And like I mentioned before, the magnifier glasses really come in handy, especially for these details. Working with them is an absolute godsend. I I think I need new glasses anyway, but I'm still going to keep using those magnifiers. They're absolutely amazing. You can clearly see them, and I'm gonna see and try if I can get my camera to better focus and do it automatically on what I'm working on, but that's probably not gonna happen. And I really hope you like this angle, because this is a good one for me when I can easily paint and have it in frame. I'm gonna see if I can do a better angle for when I paintbrush, so when I airbrush, because the airbrush kind of got in the way of what I was doing, and you only saw the airbrush. Again, live and learn, live and learn. I'm trying to. I, I'm not trying. I definitely learn new things with every video I post. Alright, we're really getting close to the end of the video, and I want to get the shilling out of the way before I let you all enjoy the final shots, which I plan to do absolutely an amazing show of that. So if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe. There will most likely be another Orc video or Gretchen video or whatever you want to call it this October. So we're back, baby. We're painting miniatures again on this channel. There are plenty of updates on the house because that's not gonna stop anytime soon. And please subscribe, share it with a friend. I really hope you enjoy it. This has been one of the best miniatures I've ever painted, and I really hope you like it. So yeah, please subscribe, share it, join me, and uh, I've been trying to come up with my own catchphrase, but really am bad at this. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it. As much as I would have liked to steal somebody's, and there's one I really like because it rhymes and it's awesome. I'm not gonna do it. So just please help me grow. Share it with a friend, subscribe, you know, the works. It's YouTube. Like the video, and I will see you in the next one. All that is left, I think, right now is the assembly, and you can check that out, and then the final shots. Yeah. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.